I honestly hope this becomes the trend whenever a corporation gets woke. So right now we're seeing that Bud Light stock is currently down today once again. Dylan Mulvaney has responded. Howard Stern's issued a statement. The Anheuser-Busch fiasco is only getting worse for Anheuser-Busch. They could have stayed out of culture war politics, but they decided to get woke and go broke. Now, of course, I'm not so convinced they're going to lose enough money to where they actually cry about it. We must maintain a boycott on Anheuser-Busch products because the apology is the goal. Once they apologize, they are saying outright to the world, they are more concerned about your ideas than their ideas. That's it. In the meantime, let's go through the news. I couldn't help but notice this tweet from Seth Weathers. We've had Seth on the show, co-founder of Conservative Dad's ultra-right, woke-free American beer. Okay, outright, I hope you all consider this product. Now, I'm not going to give you advice. I typically will tell people not to drink beer, so I don't want to tell you to do anything, but I will say this. If a company emerges in response to a corporation getting woke, we should be in support of it. When Jeremy Boring of the Daily Wire launched his chocolate bar company, I think I ordered like a couple thousand chocolate bars. Now, of course, I have an office with like 30 or 40 employees and guests that come in every day with crew. So we stock snacks. We've got popcorn. We got potato chips. We got healthy snacks, keto granola bars. And I said, yeah, chocolate. That sounds perfect. Let's order a whole bunch. Let's make sure the money we have is going to corporations that don't hate us. So over at ultrarightbeer.com, they're selling ultra-right beer. Again, I'm not advocating for you to buy any of this stuff. I am not promoting this. In fact, I would actually argue against drinking alcohol. That's just me. I just want to make sure it's clear. My point is simply this. Corporations that are emerging in response to the woke psychosis, probably a good thing. In no way are we promoted or sponsored by any of this. I just thought it was really interesting. They're doing it. But let's talk about the latest news and developments. Dylan Mulvaney responds to critics of Bud Light deal saying, I'm an easy target. Well, I'll just make it simple for anybody who's stumbling upon these videos, who doesn't understand why, I can't speak for everybody, but why at least I do not like that Bud Light has sponsored Dylan Mulvaney. Because Dylan Mulvaney is not trans. And of course, the left thinks Dylan Mulvaney is, but Dylan Mulvaney is just a character who is seeking fame, as evidenced by Dylan Mulvaney's own TikTok, if you go and look at it. Dylan Mulvaney has always desperately tried to be famous, such as appearing on Ellen DeGeneres and trying to dance on stage, just desperate for people to look at them. Well, here they are. Congratulations. This is their bit. Now, actual trans people have posted online about how Dylan Mulvaney doesn't seem to be following any of this, not taking hormones, it seems, and not getting hair removal. It seems like it's a bit. Now, some will argue, what about the facial surgery? Yeah, but facial surgery isn't necessarily the same thing as removing your hair permanently and taking hormones. But I digress. Okay, facial surgery certainly happened. Speaking with Rosie O'Donnell, Mulvaney, who is a biological man identifying as a trans woman, offered a reason for the mounting attention and criticism following a promotion for Bud Light beer and a sports bra for Nike. The reason I think I'm an easy target is because I'm still new to this. I think going after a trans woman who has been doing this for 20 years is a lot more difficult. Maybe they think there's some sort of chance with me that they can, but I mean, what's their goal? Okay. They're going to mention Travis Tritt, Kid Rock, John Rich. Former Olympic swimmer Sharon Davies also slammed Nike's partnership with Mulvaney as a parody of what women are. All right. I can answer these questions, and we'll jump over to the story about Howard Stern so we can wrap it all into one nice, neat little bow. Shock jock Howard Stern is dumbfounded by Kid Rock's reaction to trans star Dylan Mulvaney's Bud Light campaign. Why do you care so much about this? It's kind of sad, to see someone like Howard Stern, who doesn't have Google, who doesn't listen, and who is genuinely shocked. Here's what he said. I thought there must be a piece of this story that I'm missing, he said on Monday's edition of the long-running show. And there is, and you are. I'm not bothered by gay people or transsexual people. They don't impact my life. They don't hurt my life. I love when people are in love. You want to be a woman? Be a woman. You want to be a dude? Be a dude. But whatever you effing want, as long as you ain't hurting anybody, I'm on your team. Now, that's a bold thing to say. I'm not on your team if you're not hurting somebody. If you're someone whose position is don't hurt others, non-aggression principle, I'm on that specific team. But if you are a person who wants to sterilize and castrate children, you're literally hurting people. If you are a person who has a social media profile that is algorithmically feeding children the idea about self-sterilization, you are hurting people. And see, that's the thing. Howard Stern is not smart enough to understand this. He just is like, it's just a person with a social media account. And then for the rest of us, we're like, yes, and the algorithm is feeding this to children and we are seeing increasing suicide rates among young people, extreme an increase in depression among young people. And we are seeing a rapid escalation in hormone therapies and surgery for children, which we already know doesn't work thanks to the research that was done in Europe. Call it whatever you want. Experimentation and research. They ultimately said, hey, this didn't work. And they stopped. In Scandinavia and in the UK. It should not be happening here. They're hurting kids. Howard Stern doesn't care. He assumes Kid Rock, who he thinks is a good guy. He's like, he goes on to say something. Let me see what he says. Kid Rock, I know him. He's got a great life. He transitioned from some kid in Michigan to a rock superstar. I'm really dumbfounded by someone would care so much that they would blow up a can of Bud Light and say F. Anheuser-Busch. I don't get it. Could it be that Kid Rock is a good dude? Is a good dude who wants to help people? Maybe that's it. Maybe people like Dylan Mulvaney contribute to the harm that is affecting these children, resulting in suicide and depression. And someone like Kid Rock is saying, how dare you hurt these kids and provide funding in this direction? I feel Kid Rock, his songs are all about living the life you want. I'm doing my thing, man, and F you if you're not with me. Sure, Kid Rock blew up a bunch of Bud Light. I dig it. He's standing up, he's saying no. Then Stern began to speak about another country star, Travis Tritt. Again, Stern said that he would like to have Tritt on the show to explain why he's so upset over Mulvaney's face adorning a Bud Light can. Rock has made many appearances on Stern's show over the years. During one memorable exchange, Rock spoke about his pride in not living in Los Angeles, but rather spread himself across the country. There's nothing effing better than a plane. These mother effers that live in LA, I feel bad for these mother effing musicians who I think have money. You ain't got ish, mother effer. A lot of swearing. I got a lot of problems. Money and, let's just say, women ain't one of them, the American badass singer said. Sure. Oh, look at this. Kid Rock with John Rich. John Rich is fantastic, by the way. Good friend of the show. We've had him on a couple times, and he does great work. That was the same interview in which Kid Rock decided to announce that he wasn't running for U.S. Senate. The singer described his flirtation with politics, blah, 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 blah. So you get it, I guess. Rock was also one of the performers at Stern's birthday party in 2000, appearing on stage alongside late co-frontman Joe C. In response to the Mulvaney firestorm, Anheuser-Busch has defended working with the influencer, blah, blah, blah. You get it. You get it. So here's the issue, Howard. You don't understand. You are the one who is ignoring harm befalling children. And that's the issue that conservatives take. Now, I, of course, have always been a traditional liberal and a very much live, let live kind of person. So my view has been sort of like, yeah, you know what? They're targeting innocent kids. It's a bad thing. Agreed. And abortion is wrong. It does end a life. Agreed. My challenge with the pro-life versus pro-choice is where the government intervenes in this matter that pertains to two individual life forms is very, very difficult for me to it's difficult for me to side with government intervention on that one when it involves two different individual lives, and I'm more of an individualist libertarian type. I know it's not a perfect answer. I don't have one. And then I can say this. You know, when it comes to these kids being sterilized like Jazz Jennings, against their will, in my view, like Jazz is clearly unwilling to do these things. You see this video. Actually, Howard, if you end up seeing this video, here's what I got to say for you. Google search or search on Twitter is a better place to do it for Jazz Jennings' mother and dilator. And then you will understand likely why Kid Rock is upset by this video of Dylan Mulvaney. There's a video of Jazz Jennings, who's the famous trans child, was a TV show on TLC. The mother saying that she wakes up Jazz in the middle of the night, grabs the dilator and lubricates it and says, "You stick this in you or I'll do it." Then goes on to say, if Jazz leaves and doesn't do this and it closes up, I'll wring her neck. Why? What's wrong with you? Of course, what she's talking about is Jazz Jennings has what's referred to as a neovagina. In proper medical term, it would be described as a surgical sex. Well, it's a penile inversion vaginoplasty. And Jazz Jennings, they had to use stomach lining to create the interior of this of space. And I don't know exactly how you describe it medically. The issue is it exists for a man to insert himself in for sexual gratification and nothing else. It will not produce pleasure for Jazz Jennings. Jazz Jennings is incapable of this due to the hormones and the surgeries. So that's the point. The deep harm that befalls these children, now adults. And we don't want that pushed on kids. So that's why we're like, okay, Anheuser-Busch, you hurt children. Howard, that's the issue. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.